So guys, this was the moment Mazi Nnamdi Kanu arrived at court for the continuation of his trial. We know that the federal government is trying to charge him with terrorism. We are living in a country where Boko Haram, that is the real terror group, is allowed to operate the way they want. Just yesterday, these headlines surfaced that Boko Haram ISWAP insurgents attacked 4 Nigerian military bases within 24 hours. This happened in Borno State. They attacked the Nigerian military bases, spied some soldiers, scattered away, some of the weapons and all that. And guess what? The military finally reacted to this, and they were asking these fighters, these Boko Haram terrorists, to come surrender, to come lay down their arms, so that they'll be granted pardon again. So guys, this is a country where the terrorists in the bush, those terrorizing the country, are being asked to come for pardon, while the person who is not part of them is being charged with terrorism. What an irony. Now, this is another headline yesterday coming from Channels Television website, and it says, Senate asks military to deploy troops to Borno and Yobe because of the intensity of the attacks coming from these Boko Haram fighters. Don't forget that one of the lawmakers raised alarm, saying Boko Haram is using sophisticated weapons that the Nigerian military does not have. And they now operate drones. These drones that are difficult to be dictated, you can imagine. And these people are being begged to come surrender. Can you imagine that? I'm going to be attaching that video here so that you listen for yourself how the Nigerian military has reacted to the recent attacks by Boko Haram on the military bases. Now, this headline says, this is also a headline for yesterday, and it says, Northern Kano leaders meet security chiefs, raise alarm over insecurity. It's getting worse in the north, and also Governor Zulum has also condemned ISWAP Boko Haram attacks in his state, because these attacks are more in Borno State. You can imagine that Boko Haram attacked 4 military bases within the space of 24 hours, and they killed about 4 soldiers, carted away with some weapons and all that. So a whole lot is happening in this country, and one keeps wondering, why are they trying Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and trying to charge him with terrorism, while the real terror people are being begged to come surrender? And what an irony, Nigerians. Anyway, I'm going to allow you to take a look at the reaction coming from the Nigerian military after watching Nnamdi Kanu's appearance in court today. You are going to be seeing how the military reacted to some of these attacks. And then I'm also going to allow you to listen to this reaction on why the DSS denied Mazi Nnamdi Kanu lawyer access to him. Can you imagine? Your lawyer that came to see you ahead of your court appearance was denied access. What an irony. What a country we are living in. So guys, I'm going to allow you to take a look at all this and let me know your honest reaction in the comment section below. Now take a look.
Yes, sir. I'm so special. Have you go with that money? Yes, sir. I'm so special. Have you go with that money? Yes, sir. I'm so special. Have you go with that money? Since November of last year, we noticed the introduction of the use of armed drones to carry out attacks. Like you will find out in Israel and Ukraine, these drones are difficult to detect by conventional radar detection systems. What the terrorists have resorted to doing is carrying out multi-pronged attacks on several isolated and vulnerable deployments and using it as a propaganda, which is why we are also reviewing our deployments. Yesterday alone, there were attacks in Ran, Dikwa, and Gajiram, and all these attacks were defeated, apart from Ran, where they succeeded in penetrating to an extent, leading to the loss of 4 gallant personnel. However, let me reassure you that the overall resolve of the Nigerian military is that we will completely defeat this terrorism and restore peace to the region once and for all in the shortest possible time. We just need the support of the nation. For the terrorists, I urge them to toe the path of their colleagues who have surrendered.
And these fundamental human rights include him having access to his legal team, him getting a full medical care, him getting access to members of his family. So for me, Nigeria is not an ideal country. So everybody behaves anyhow because those in power behaves anyhow. So that could be the reason why they should stop Kanu Agabi from seeing him, which is very, very unfortunate. I keep on saying that Nnamdi Kanu is a prisoner of conscience. It is just the Igbo haters that are trying to destroy him. But I believe that at the end of the day, Daniel will come to judgment and Nnamdi Kanu will be set free.
All right, taking a look at this, because now we expect that now that Nnamdi Kanu has increased his legal counsel and added notable names like Agabi to his counsel, he should be getting at least some level of fair play, and of course having Agabi with his level of influence and wherewithal, the DSS should be able to respect his person in making sure that he sees his client, who is Nnamdi Kanu. Why does it look like the DSS does these things and gets away with it?
Well, DSS is a law unto themselves, like every other people are laws unto themselves. You can also agree with me that Nyesom Wike is a law unto himself. Understand? So many Nigerians that are in APC are laws unto themselves. So EFCC is taking a cue from the body movement of the presidency. Understand? EFCC is taking a cue from the body movement of the presidency. They are not law abiding. So you shouldn't expect the DSS to be doing the opposite of what other people are doing.
So in terms of this, we're saying that high-handedness on the part of people who are meant to keep the law, like the DSS, getting away with such things under a democratic setting, and nobody calls them to order. And we expect that...
Who is to call them to order? Who is to call them to order? Is it a reckless executive that should call them to order? Or a rubber stamp National Assembly? Or a compromised complicit judiciary? So there's nobody to call anybody to order. Everybody is behaving as he or she wants. Because this is we talk about leadership by example. The people at the top are not practicing what they are preaching. Understand me? So you shouldn't expect DSS that to continue to go by the books. So it is very, very unfortunate.
But in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, now that he has decided to follow the path of which the law wants him to follow in terms of calming himself down. There's been a change of the judge who's going to attend to this matter. They have begun to have hearings of his case. What does it do to Nnamdi Kanu's confidence in the judiciary system to hear him now? It looks like they want to really hear his case. What does it do to his confidence in the judicial system?
Well, Nnamdi Kanu is taking it. He didn't just enter this struggle today. He made his research. There are people that he is following. I said Nelson Mandela was in prison for 27 years. They never broke his confidence. So they cannot break Nnamdi Kanu's confidence because he is fighting a just cause. And once you are fighting a just cause, nothing can break your confidence.
Okay, now that the DSS is going through this route, denying his people from being, talking about his lawyer from seeing him, is the DSS not indirectly directing where this case is going? Because is it not supposed to be a fair play situation where he gets to meet his counsel, plan for his next hearing, and what to say and what to do? Because in the process where he's been denied his counsel, so he will not have a lot of time to prepare for his hearing. Because it makes things even more difficult for a person like Nnamdi Kanu, and as high profile this case is, he's supposed to have an opportunity to have a meeting with his counsel ahead of such a major case.
When you talk of a high profile case, it amuses me.
Why should he amuse you?
There's nothing in this case.
Okay.
There's absolutely nothing in this case. Nnamdi Kanu was framed. Nigeria police, Nigeria securities know how to give charges. Understand me? So for me, this is just a case of victimization. So I don't see any high-profile thing in it. You can say because of Nnamdi Kanu's stature, understand me, that Nnamdi Kanu is on trial. But that the case is a high-profile case, for me, there's nothing in the case.
Are we talking about...
Nnamdi Kanu is just a victim of the Nigerian state and nothing more.
If you say a victim of the Nigerian state, but in this case, Nnamdi Kanu is a leader of a group that has also been proscribed to be a terrorist group.
By who? By the Nigerian state.
Yeah, by the Nigerian state. So it's a high-profile case that a leader of a proscribed organization...
Did the leaders of civilized communities proscribe IPOB? Did America, did the United States, did France, did Germany proscribe IPOB?
But IPOB is not in these countries. They don't operate in those countries.
IPOB is not in Spain.
Are they operating?
IPOB
are they
is
operating
not in Italy.
Are they operating the way they are operating in Nigeria?
So for me, this is just Nnamdi Kanu is a victim of the Nigerian state. There's nothing in this case. DSS is just being dramatic and understand. So for me, at the end of the day, justice will be served. I said Nnamdi Kanu will be better off than those persecuting him, not prosecuting, persecuting him.
But how would that be? Because now, for instance, I just say the way the DSS is going about it, are they not directing the case instead of allowing it to go its way it's supposed to be?
Excuse me, there's a case filed in court already.
Yes.
What DSS is doing will not add or subtract from the case.
What about the denial of the counsel being able to meet him to prepare him ahead of the next hearing? If that is continued, that denies Nnamdi Kanu's fair time to prepare for the next hearing.
Every paper that will be discussed in court is served to the counsels.
Yes.
Understand me? Every paper that has to be served in court has to be served to the counsels. What DSS is doing is what they have been doing before. And even the Nigerian DSS don't have any intelligence. Understand me? So, the cases are in court, papers are being served, or Motosho has given accelerated hearing, which is a good thing. So I know that very soon all this drama will come to an end. because that is what it is. It is a drama and not a high-profile case.
Okay, you say it's a drama. What precedent does this drama to you set? Because now that Nnamdi Kanu is going through this, if you say he's a victim in this case, what does this say about others who will come up tomorrow and say they want self-control, they want self-determination, they want to be able to decide what their region wants? What precedent does this set if the state power looks to be more powerful to be able to direct wherever a case like this will go? Because now he's been in detention since 2021 without fair hearing.
Well, the issue is once a system is not working, there must be agitation. There must be protest. So what Nnamdi Kanu did or is doing is not different from what other enlightened people are doing.
In the way he's going about it, you think it's not different from what others have been doing before?
How many do you know?
At least we know he had a Radio Biafra where he was making a lot of agitative comments. And of course, according to
So it is owning a radio station that's
it was deemed illegal by the government. It was deemed illegal.
In UK, there are so many radio stations
that are illegal.
Understand
not
me?
Registered.
That are not registered. We have online radio stations, even in this country, that is not registered.
Are you trying to tell
Nnamdi Kanu did not do anything different? Are you trying to tell the NBC
that there are a lot of radio stations in Nigeria that
there are so many online radio stations that are not registered. Even there are so many universities that are not registered. Are you aware of it?
I think I'm not aware yet. Maybe you are trying to tell us something. So you mean
said there are so many radio stations that are not registered. There are so many universities that are not registered. Understand me?
Okay.
So what self-agitation, self-determination is in the Constitution, 1999 Constitution. And that's what Nnamdi Kanu did because Nigeria is not working.
All right, we understand our virtual guest is now with us, talking about Barrister Ejiofor Umegbogu. He's a lawyer and activist. I would like to borrow his legal understanding in this matter. Good evening. You're welcome to the issues.
Yeah. Good evening.
Okay.
I'm joining late because I didn't get the link on time.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Before let's just go ahead without wasting much time. Taking a look at Nnamdi Kanu's case, how can the DSS justify denying access to legal counsel in a high-profile trial, which talking about Mr. Noski objects that is not high-profile, but whatever way you see it. And what does this say about Nigerians' commitment to due process if a body like the DSS would deny Nnamdi Kanu access to his counsel?
You see, Nigeria can be described as the theater of their thought, where things are done in such a topsy-turvy manner. You see, this Nnamdi Kanu's case has taken such a laughable dimension. In fact, it is going beyond legal understanding that the government security agencies and government agencies saddled with the responsibility of prosecuting Nnamdi Kanu are just looking for every conceivable option to hold on to in order to prolong this matter unnecessarily. It is my firm view that a lot of things are not being done properly well in that Nnamdi Kanu's case. It leaves a lot to be desired. It leaves so much to be desired. But you see, the end justifies the means. They say the wheel of justice grinds slowly but surely. Nnamdi Kanu will get justice.
Barrister, we are not in a military regime. How come that Nnamdi Kanu's case is now looking like we are in a military era where the government can take decisions on certain individuals without fair trial and keep him in detention for so long? He's been in detention since 2021. And given the international attention on Nnamdi Kanu's trial, how damaging is this move to Nigeria's global human rights image?
Certainly, it gives a lot of damage to Nigerians' human rights image. You see, we cannot be labeled at fact. We cannot state the obvious. It is obvious that the Nigerians' image, but Nigeria as a nation, are not even interested in in their international image any longer. That is why we do things in a manner that it seems that we do not give a damn of what the international community thinks about our perception or our image. So certainly it tells a negative tale about Nigerians' image abroad, but is getting out of hand. But let me also state that I can remember that Nnamdi Kanu, the prosecutors got an order at the earlier stage to continue to detain him at the DSS facility while the prosecution lasts. I think there was an order like that, and that order presumably is still subsisting. So that is why they are still keeping him there while the prosecution goes on.
Well, to my understanding, you understand that Nnamdi Kanu increased his counsel so as to have people who have the wherewithal to make sure that his case he gets fair hearing. We all know who Agabi is. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria and a one-time Attorney General. Should his office not give him privileges that the DSS should respect when these proceedings is looking like, we thought that, okay, now the government is willing to make sure that judicial proceedings are being taken seriously? How come a person like Agabi is being stopped from saying his lines and they get away with it? And why so much silence on the part of the presidency and the Ministry of Justice?
You see, these are the silent points that gets people like us confused the more. The way and manner the prosecution of Nnamdi Kanu is being carried along, it leaves much to be desired. That certain things are done in such a manner that it behoves the imagination of any right-thinking person. You see, but be that as it may, I also believe that the personality of Kanu Agabi does not have anything to do with the process of law. You see, the law does not look at personalities. So he can only state the law as it is, and if the court finds his position worthy, the court will go with his position. But let us not have that erroneous belief that the personality of Kanu Agabi or the personality of any other person, for that matter, if he throws his weight into a case, that case will definitely turn to his favor, or that the court will begin to give a nod to everything he says. No.
But there was a prior notice to the DSS that he was coming to see him. But when he got there, it was a different kettle of fish he met when he got to the DSS office.
Yes, that depends on the administrative procedures in the DSS, in the Department of State Security. Because if Nnamdi Kanu were to be at the correctional center, I know the story would have been different. But he's in the detention of DSS. So the internal administrative mechanism of DSS will also come to play. So, and I am not knowledgeable in the internal mechanisms, administrative mechanisms of DSS to know on what grounds they refuse him. So the point I'm making is that because he is being detained at the Department of State Security, there are some other internal administrative procedures that may come to play, which which is not to my knowledge.
Okay, let me
So if
let,
we did at the correctional center,
okay.
the story would have been different.
All right, Barrister, let me go to Mr. Anosike now. Mr. Anosike, the president was in Anambra recently, and Soludo, the governor, entertained him, and he was busy, more or less interested in saying that he was showing support to the president. Everyone who was following the Nnamdi Kanu trial felt that that would have been a big podium for the president to tell us that he was going to release Nnamdi Kanu fair and square, or say something about the case, or the governor pleading his case, or the Southeast governors or leaders would have taken it as an opportunity. Okay, release this man, let peace return back to the Southeast.
Well, Tinubu was in Anambra on Jamboree.
Okay.
He went to Anambra, that's on a different mission. And what played out in Anambra was Nollywood. Understand?
Yeah.
Or that was a Fox game. Tinubu was trying to deceive so I mean, what's his name? Sonudo. Sonudo was trying to deceive Tinubu. So in that, that everybody was just playing game. So there was no promise that was made in Anambra that will be kept. Understand me? So I'm happy that that Nnamdi Kanu case wasn't mentioned. Understand me? I'm happy that Nnamdi Kanu case was not mentioned, because it was just a cat and a dog game that happened. Understand me? Imagine Sonudo saying that Abga is going to, that Tinubu will be their presidential candidate. Understand? That's why he know that he cannot command 5% of the Anambra State voters. Understand me? And Tinubu saying that he has endorsed Sonudo for his November election. So it was just a kind of cat and dog game. Understand? So I'm happy that it didn't come up. And most of them there were just sycophants. Understand? People looking for what to eat. So, and Sonudo is among those that are afraid of Nnamdi Kanu, because he knows that Nnamdi Kanu is far more popular than him.
Okay, very interesting. You can also be a part of the show. The program is conversational, talking about our viewers. You can also drop your comment via the YouTube platform. You can also call in via the number, the WhatsApp number. You can drop your comments on WhatsApp, and also call in via the WhatsApp number beaming on your screen. And we'll be taking your comments as the show progresses. Okay, we are already seeing the comments. We'll take them as the show progresses. Well, let's go to the next conversation. Omoyole Sowore, a former presidential candidate, has criticized Peter Obi, saying he's not a real opposition leader. Sowore claims Obi hasn't done enough to challenge the government, citing his silence in fuel price increases and lack of strict action. The obedient movement, however, disagrees with Sowore's assessment. They argue that Obi's relevance in national discourse remains unmatched, pointing out that his statements and actions continue to generate significant attention and news coverage. The movement reaffirmed its support for Obi, urging his critics to focus on their own future campaigns rather than trying to undermine him. They believe Obi will continue to challenge the establishment for the interest of the Nigerian people. Let me now go to Barrister. Taking a look at this comment, looking at Peter Obi's obedience versus Sowore. Does Sowore have a point? Can Peter Obi truly be called an opposition leader if he avoids confronting the government on critical issues like fuel hikes?
I want to agree with Sowore on that premise. I want to agree with Sowore on that. You see, most of our leaders, those of them that acclaimed leaders, are actually politicians. They are just politicians. There is this statement by former president of America, Kennedy, that states politicians prepare, think about next election, while statesmen think about next programs. That's policies. Think about the next policies. So most of our leaders, from Peter Obi to even Atiku Abubakar, and all of them, they only show up their faces, begin to do one or two things once election is around the corner. That is not statesmanly. I want to see them, all of them. I'm not even particular about Peter Obi now. I am including even Atiku Abubakar of PDP. And all of them that wants to lead this country. They should be functional opposition. What I mean by functional opposition is follow the government policy by policy, program by program, action by action. They should be there always to give alternatives to government policies and programs from beginning till the end. Not 1 year to the election. They will start coming out from their different shelves to begin to make press statements and make some undertake some publicity stunts in preparation to for the next election. No, that is not opposition. Opposition means that every policy of government, you give us the alternative. That this government brought out this policy, you tell us no, that this policy should have been like this. Or I agree with this policy, but look at the better way to implement it. All of them were in this country. Both Obi, Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, El-Rufai, all of them. They were in this country when Naira was devalued. None of them said anything. None of them did anything. They were in this country when during all the central bank was busy churning out negative policies. None of them said anything. What was Peter Obi's position for the local government during the Supreme Court landmark judgment on local government independence of financial independence of local government? What was his position? Nothing. What has he done to call the Labour Party members in the Senate and House of Reps to a meeting of maybe a think tank to fashion out policies and programs as alternative, as an opposition to the government? What has he done anything like that? No. The answer is no. I had expected that Peter Obi all this while would have, for once, called a meeting of Labour Party members in the National Assembly to, deliberate on the laws and policies of government that will better the life of Nigerian citizens. But nothing of such has been done. So I align myself with Sowore on this.
Okay, Barrister Jofo, let me now go to Mr. Nosike. Will history judge Peter Obi in the way and manner Labour Party went immediately after the 2023 election? Because does that make him a worthy opposition leader, not being able to handle the crisis of the Labour Party?
I want to start with Showore. Showore is bitter of P2B. Showore is jealous of P2B. Showore is my very good friend. And I have told him this one-on-one. P2B is not your problem. Understand me? P2B shouldn't be your problem. Understand? I told him this February this year. Understand? I told him this one-on-one February this year. Look, that you are in the opposition does not mean that police will be arresting you on a daily basis, that you'll be going, that you sell on a daily basis, understand me? And if you are in the opposition, you run on the failures of government. Understand me? You don't help your enemy, because the people in government is your enemy. They are in power to give solutions. You don't help them with that solutions. Say you did this in this way, you should have done it this way. You are helping them. Understand me? You don't help your enemy. So P2B has been a frontline opposition. He has been criticizing this government. He has been criticizing this government. He shouldn't go naked on the streets for them to know that he is in the opposition. Understand me? This is a nice man, not as desperate as the other people. And P2B is not the only presidential candidate in the 2023 election. Why are everybody after him?
He was a major candidate. Among the top three, it was between...
Wasn't Kwankwaso that's a top candidate?
No, it was not relevant in the equation. Because if you take a look at the equation...
But he scored more than 1 million votes.
Well, he didn't score up to P2B. P2B is more relevant than Kwankwaso
the issue
in this
is
conversation.
all of them are jealous of P2B. Showore thought that he would run as a candidate of the youth. But the youth are now following P2B. That is the reason why Showore is bitter of him.
So you're saying his criticism is not constructive.
Understand? He's criticizing P2B from a biased mind.
So he should not be taken seriously. So you're saying he should not be taken seriously.
He's criticizing P2B from a biased mind. How many times has Showore mentioned article? How many times has Showore mentioned the article? How many times has Showore mentioned the Kwankwaso? So he's coming from a point of bitterness.
What kind of opposition leader does Nigeria need right now? And is P2B measuring up to this standard? In your own standard, to an opposition leader?
He is doing what he's supposed to do as an opposition candidate. Understand me? And it is not every dog that bites that you talk about. Understand me? It is not every shoe shiner that makes noise you respond to.
Who is the shoe shiner in this house, in this respect? Who are you referring to?
Most of them are. So the issue is this. P2B is doing what he's supposed to do as somebody in the opposition. Ononoga has never attacked any of those presidential candidates more than Obi. Reno Omokri, Bawanda and others. Why? Because P2B is the one that's always talking. Understand me?
But Atiku also speaks. Why has Reno and Kono that?
They are cowards now. Understand me? They are cowards. So all of them are envious of P2B. P2B is doing what he is supposed to do. Understand me? And I'm not expecting to do more than this. And he's not desperate. So enough for Nigeria to either accept him or reject him. He's already comfortable. He's contented. You reject him, the suffering continues.
Okay, very, very interesting point of view there. And let's go back to the next conversation because of time. Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory Minister Wike has stated that the People's Democratic Party, PDP, should not give its 2027 presidential ticket to the northern part of Nigeria. Wike condemned the internal selfishness within the party, warning that it could harm the party's future prospects. Wike's comment has seen as a message to Atiku Abubakar, the party's 2023 presidential candidate. He argued that if the ruling party retains power in 2027 and sends its presidential ticket to the north in 2031, the PDP should not follow suit. Wike has also criticized PDP governors for trying to direct the party's affairs, describing them as insincere. He emphasized that the Governors Forum is just a pressure group and lacks the power to make public decisions. Barrister Jofo, is Wike's rejection of a northern presidential candidate in 2027 a principled stand for equity or a strategic move to sideline Atiku Abubakar and boost his own influence?
It is politics all the way. It is politics. Yeah. Everybody is playing his own cards. You know, I don't begrudge Nyesom Wike. I don't begrudge him because that is what he will say. What else do you expect him to say other than that? That is what that is a position. That position he has taken is a position that we already know. That's the position that he must take. So it is politics. It is neither here nor there. It is left for the party. He has heard his view. It is left for the party to do, you know, what they want to do. If the party feels like zoning it, it's an internal family affair. Wherever they zone it is an internal party affair. If they zone it to the north and they PDP brings out a candidate from the north, it is left for we the electorate to either accept it or reject it. So Wike should not be crying more than the bereaved. He should not be crying more than the bereaved. When they bring out their candidates, from whichever way they want to bring it out, now it is left for the electorate, the ordinary citizens, to evaluate him, evaluate the candidate, and decide who to vote.
Okay, let me go.
Who picks the party candidate is an internal family affair of the political party.
Okay, what about him saying that the governors have no right to decide what happens to the party, that they're just a pressure group and should not meddle into the internal affairs of the party?
But that is correct. The Governors Forum is not in any way in the organogram of the party. It is a pressure group. You know, let us be realistic and fair in our comments. When somebody says or does what is good, let us commend him. When somebody does, bad, then we reprimand him. In this case, Wike is correct. If you check the organogram of the leadership organogram or the administrative organogram of any political party, you will not see Governors Forum there. So Governors Forum depends on the influence they are able to muster within the society. It is their influence. If they do well, they will have influence.
When Wike was a governor, he somehow found a way to make decisions within the PDP as at the time.
Yes.
But he was not part of those who was criticizing it because he was part of the governors who was in the Governors Forum making decisions for the party. But now he's not a governor. Even crashing the Governors Forum's meeting to even come to add that. Is he the right person to be calling Kettle black?
Well, just like I said, when he was there as a governor, he used his influence.
Yes.
Well, he used his influence very well. Yeah. It is left for the incumbent governors to also use their influence. If they fail in endearing, themselves to the minds of the people, to the extent that the people will place value on them, then that is their own kettle of fish.
Very interesting point of view. All right, Barrister Jofo. let me go to Mr. Anosike on this one before we wrap it up, because we are pressed for time. Mr. Anosike, taking a look at Wike, is it the right person to be making this comment now for the PDP and saying that they should not select or appoint or nominate a presidential candidate from the north?
Mentioning that name or hearing that name is painful to me. Understand me? It's a pain. So there's a difference between the way things is supposed to be and the way things are. Understand me? The way things are supposed to be, governors forum is a pressure group.
Yes.
But the way things are, governors control the parties. Understand me? That's why in every state, the governor is the leader of the party. So does that make it a pressure group?
Definitely very interesting to look at it.
So it doesn't. So the governors are not pressure groups. The governors are in control of the parties in their different states. Governors fund the parties, and they say who pays the piper dictates the tune.
All right.
So people are saying that when everybody left, that's what Makinde said yesterday. When everybody left, that it was Wike that was funding the party. Where was the article? And that was what Nelson Wike said. Makinde said yesterday. So for what he's saying, that the North shouldn't. After drinking this whiskey, you can never hear anything constructive from him.
Very interesting.
He not only drinks whiskey, he drinks happiness drugs. Understand me? So he's always high. So Nigeria Constitution gives everybody, including you and me, the right to run for any office in the country. So you cannot say.
So guys, tell me why all these things will happen and the Nigerian military is asking those who attack Nigeria to come lay their arms down. You know, what an irony. You know, they are begging them to come and lay their arms down. These are people that they are supposed to trace them to wherever they are, clamp down on them, arrest them, even try to arrest them alive, take them to jail, try them, prosecute them, jail them under severe condition so that others can learn. But they are being asked to come, drop their arms and be given amnesty and pardon and rehabilitation and possibly reintroduced back into the society. So one might be wondering, why are we having this series of attacks in the military? Some people have said because, you know, these people that are being pardoned, some of them end up in the Nigerian military. They are there as agents and also people who give information to Boko Haram members, because you can imagine within the space of 24 hours, Boko Haram could attack 4 Nigerian military bases without being stopped at any point. You know, they were able to do all they did and still disappear. We didn't hear that one of them was captured. We didn't hear that one of them was injured. We didn't hear that one of them was arrested. We didn't hear any of those. It means that they operate comfortably and also left comfortably and without any injury being inflicted on them. And here is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu being tried on terrorism. Nigerians, you guys should just think about this and let me reconcile all this and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.